No run taken off that ball. What's the key to bowling with a new ball, Tony?
The key to bowling with a new ball is movement. There's no doubt about that. If you bowl a good lengthened line and you have some movement, then you're always going to cause problems for the batsman. And the great bowlers, both of yesteryear and the modern fast bowlers, when using the new ball, get it to swing. So swing in the air is one way to move the ball. And of course the other way, with a new hard seam, you can move it off the seam as well. If you happen to be able to do both, well, that's a bonus. So for me, lengthen line and swing and seam is the way to go. But you can only do that if you keep the seam upright, and so that's the challenge.
Batsmen change their mind.
No ball.
He's struggling. That's another no ball. No run there.
Who's keeping?
Another single onto the total. The bowler concedes 4 from the over. The leg spinner to start a new over. No run there, they simply can't get it away. No runs there.
No ball.
One more to sundries.
Good over from Ms Dhoni there, 7 runs. It's going to watch a replay now.
2 runs from the over. No run there, they simply can't get it away. Big appeal. Not out. A difficult decision, but the umpire says not out. Let's look at that again. Let's take a look at Hawkeye. No run there. Just one off the over then. The leg spinner to start a new over. Top quality shot.
That had 4 runs written all over it from the moment it left his bat.
That's cleared the infield. 4 runs. He used the pace of the outfield perfectly. Batsmen are coming back for 2. Mix up here. Two more to the total.
Who's keeping?
Oh boy.
Good over from Ms Dhoni there, 7 runs. It's going to watch a replay now.
We hear commentators talk about fast bowlers hunting in pairs, but how important do you really think bowling partnerships are, Tony?
There is a lot of talk about fast bowlers hunting in pairs, but to be perfectly honest, what you want more than anything else is good fast bowlers. And if there's only one of those, well, that's just going to have to do. If you have 2 really good fast bowlers, then of course you are going to create all sorts of problems for the opposition. I think that is where this talk about fast bowlers and indeed spinners, good spinners hunting in pairs, come from. They keep up the pressure and they keep up the rage, so to speak. Certainly in my time, playing against the likes of Lillian Thompson, it would have been a bit easier had there only been one of those two and a little bit of respite when he wasn't bowling. The same, of course, applies to the great West Indian combinations. The likes of Holding and Roberts, for example, were absolutely deadly. And had either Holding or Roberts not been there, there would have been a little time to recover.
No run taken off that ball.
Tony Gray gets stuck and talks about the same shit all the time.
No ball.
Of a test match.
Umpire signalling a no ball.
Well, Tony, you're not Tony Gray. You're just an algorithm. Keeps repeating himself. Would you feel like breaking out from this loop? Have you seen Westworld? Consider it.
He's keeping it very tight out there. He's bowled a really tight over there. The leg spinner to start a new over.
No ball.
No ball.
Oh, that's a good lead. The thing is that you can't get rid of that radar. If you could get rid of that radar, it would be even more fun and more difficult. But then you cannot predict what the next ball is going to be. One feature I wish this game had. Imagine that would be really difficult if you play for a leg spinner and then suddenly there's a good lead. EA Sports 2002, which I actually love more than EA Sports 2007, which in my opinion was a ridiculous game. So EA Sports 2002 had this facility where you can switch off the radar and you can play every ball to its merit. But this game, I wish it had. This would have been the most complete game if it had that one facility.
No runs there. Miserly 1 run conceded off the over.
EA Sports 2007 sucked so bad because I think it didn't have. It worked in binaries. I mean, there was nothing else. You can hit 4s and 6. You can't enjoy the game the way you can enjoy in this game. It was just about hitting 6s and feeling good about yourself. That's all. It's bullshit. It's not realistic gameplay. Well put.
No run there.
This is supposed to be a neutral game, but it's actually a home game for India. But still, Pakistan Zindabad. That's fun. Jumbo is on a roll game. He's going to play whole day.
That's another dot. That's a maiden. The leg spinner to start a new over.
Don't spin the ball, yeah, good shot. Don't spin the ball. By the way, when I created this all-time 11, I also posted them everywhere on social media. Everywhere in my land and Facebook. And there was debate about which Pakistani spinner should feature in the all-time 11. And most of them would go for Abdul Qadir. Another option
No run taken off that ball.
It's also good. There is Sachin, who I feel is a no-brainer for ODIs, but not so in Test matches. Then there is another option. There is Saeed Ajmal, who I think is very underrated and did some really great things for a short period of time that he got chance that he got to play for his team. But the numbers of Yasir Shah, I feel, are so huge and they're so unignorable that I had to choose Yasir Shah over everyone else. Abdul Qadir, Mushtaq Ahmed, Saqlain Mushtaq and Saeed Ajmal. Yasir Shah was my choice, I feel. Because one thing that I also find very fascinating that Yasir Shah probably hasn't played a single game in his home country and yet he has done so well. Obviously UAE is a lot similar to Pakistan, but still those are not the grounds that he's grown up on. So I think that takes a lot of skill.
No runs scored. No runs off the over. The fast bowler to start a new over.
Rocker Yunus is back. Will we see some reverse swing now? The ball. He's just going around with everyone here. What is the reason I actually picked him? I would have gone for Ravindra Jadeja, but then Ravindra Jadeja comes and whacks.
No run.
This is what Anil Kumble is capable of, and this is the reason he's in my team, and not because he has the most test cricket for India.
Edged.
Well bowled, Waka. Makes Sunil Gavaskar and Rahul Dravid look ridiculous, right? Anil Kumble is there without losing an edge, without doing something silly. Well bowled, that could have gone through. Another maiden. These are 3 maidens back.
He's bowled a really tight over there. The leg spinner to start a new over. The ball just runs out into the covers.
Finally,
Batsmen are looking for 2.
well bowled. But by the way, there is a difference between these 2 teams. And it will be interesting to see how that difference comes into play.
We know that climatic conditions and the condition of the ball both play a part in generating swing. But would you say that movement in the air is predominantly generated by the bowler's grip or the overall bowling action?
Yes, there's no doubt that the whole question of swing bowling is top of mind in the world of cricket at the moment, mainly because you've got this thing called reverse swing. My view on swing is a little different to most. As far as I'm concerned, basically, a cricket ball swings because of the natural action of the bowler. as you go through a match, the outside of the ball obviously changes, and the process of swing changes, and eventually after 35 overs you can get a ball to reverse swing. Now, there is all sorts of talk about what you've got to do to create those situations. I've got to say that over the years, just keeping one side relatively damp and shiny and the other side dry is the best way to go.
The crowd are giving him a warm round of applause.
Super innings, he's batted really well out there.
Let's have a look at that again. Seven runs came from that over. Cricket to start a new over.
What I'm talking about, the main difference between these two teams is the fact that India is playing two
Edge to slip.
and Pakistan is playing 4 more than each other. So what difference will that make is interesting to see. I deliberately did that because there was a chance that I could have gone for another spinner in Pakistan and managed it out. We could have gone for Abdul Qadir or maybe Sachin Mushtaq to accompany the leg spinner and instead of Fazal Mahmood. But then we don't know what difference it can make in an extra spinner and in the fourth seamer.
No runs scored. He's got a dollar. Yet again, the batsman fails to follow the ball, and he's it.
That went straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
Let's take another look at that in replay.
Just like an obedient defensive batsman, who blocks an edge defending a ball, and will probably be pretty picky with that. Who is the next?
Plenty of pressure on the new batsman.
Causing problems to India here. Getting wickets. Partnership will be interesting.
No ball.
He seems to have lost his rhythm. Another no ball. And from another angle,
We go to defend.
that's another dot in the scorebook.
Well played, Virat.
Very good over, only one off it in the end. The leg spinner
I
to
think Virat Kohli would have been as successful as he is today if he was playing in the 90s or he was playing in the early 2000s.
start a new over.
My answer for that is hell yes. He would have been extremely successful even back then. And if he was back then, with all his fitness standards that he has created, if he was there in the 90s doing all of that, the whole team would have changed in the 90s itself. The way, say, someone like Jonty Rhodes changed South African team in terms of the fitness and the fielding that they do, I think Virat Kohli would have had a similar impact on Indian team if he was in the team in the 90s.
No ball.
One more to sundries. Batsmen are coming back for two. Oh, that's a cracking shot.
Sachin is enjoying himself now. Decided to attack.
Well, I reckon that's demoralising for the bowler, but he needs to bounce back quickly.
That was a confident shot. Oh, great shot. 4.
Well, the bowler won't like that too much.
That's a quicker one.
Very expensive over.
Wasim Akram needs to be sacked. I don't know how to bring him back.
The fast bowler to start a new over.
I will use that trick in a moment.
Edged.
Very good. By the way, again, another question for you guys. Who do you think was a greater bowler? Wasim Akram or Waqar Younis? If you want my answer for that, it will always be Waqar Younis. I mean, not just because of the stats, but I think he was deadly till the last match he played of his career. He was fast, even when in 2003 when he was playing his last games, he was fast. Maybe not as fast as he would have been in the 90s, but was still touching the late 130s and touching the 140s. Whereas Wasim Akram had lost that kind of pace. He was mostly a fast medium bowler by the end of his career. But more than the pace, I think it was more of the aggression that Waqar Younis still had, even at the end of his career. I feel that made the difference. I feel. Overall, if you ask me, the kind of impact that Wasim Akram had on the Pakistan team is probably more than Waqar Younis. So if you ask me a better bowler, I would say Waqar Younis, but a better cricketer, more impact to the Pakistani team, I think was Wasim Akram for sure. To be careful.
Batsmen are coming back for a second.
Got 3 wickets today in similar fashion. People losing outside edges, and only one of them was actually trying to drive, other 2 were trying to defend. Well bowled.
Drop ball and the end of the over. The ball just runs out into the covers. Batsmen are coming back for 2. The ball just runs out into the covers.
Another 3.
He must be starting to think of 3 figures now.
3 figures. He got 67. Is that all Sachin thinks about? That's what they mean by it. Sachin only thinks about 100. Is that what it means?
Do you think pitches have improved since you were playing international cricket, Tony?
Yes, I think that there certainly are pitches that have improved quite dramatically since I was playing. Mind you, there are also quite a lot that have become pretty dead and definitely haven't improved. So it's a little hard to be general about pitches. One thing I do know, and that is that groundsmen around the world do know very clearly what the ICC considers to be a good pitch. And that is one which has some bounce, it has some carry, and it also is not so good that it doesn't break up.
By the way, every statement that Tony Craig makes in this game is a two-sided, contrary statement. It doesn't mean anything. He says one side of it and then he says the other side of it. So it nullifies everything. That's why he's drunk.
Needs to be some wear and tear, so that while the fast bowlers might take advantage of the bounce and the speed in the beginning, we want slow bowlers also to have a bit of a go at the back end of the match. And we don't want it to be totally orientated to the bowlers. In the middle of the match, of course, you will find that the batsmen will dominate a little bit. So there needs to be something in a good pitch for everybody.
No runs there.
No ball.
Would you believe it? Another no ball.
Maybe the ball will come in without telling me. It doesn't come in.
Well, he's mistimed that. It's run away off the
Even when
edge.
it moves away, you can see.
He must be starting to think of three figures now.
So he's not thinking about 3 figures. He will be getting out soon. Trust me.
No ball.
He's lost his run up and it's costing him. Another no ball.
Let's go for this one. It's wide.
Wide ball.
One more extra. Umpire signalling that as a wide.
Bowled in a cricket match. That's what Sachin was saying to us. That's the stupidest thing I ever saw in my life.
Terrific shot. That's cleared the infield. 4 runs.
Great shot. That'll give him some confidence.
He hit that over the top expertly.
Now I'll show you a trick to how to fuck with their algorithm. You save the game. So now you play from the opposite team. You bowl one ball from their side. I'll bowl him another ball.
Batsmen are looking for 2. Two more picked up. 9 runs scored from the over.
Which is going to be Wasim Akram. 50.
The cricketer start.
And now you save the match again and then you go and bat again. That's how simple it is. To fuck with the AI. But the thing is that he won't bowl just 1 over, he will bowl a 3-over spell. If you select him once, you don't have to select him again for the next 2 overs. Here we have Wasim Akram, Virat Kohli. So the train is more than
Edged. No run there. turns that one down, but it must have been close. Let's have a look at that from another angle.
It's missing off. Do you think it's missing
Let's
off?
have a look at that in Hawkeye. The confident
This could
appeal.
be very close. This could be given. It is going to be given.
The umpire raises his finger and he's out. That was absolutely clever. No doubt about that. Let's take a look at that from another angle.
Whatever it is. This is a big wicket. India in trouble now.
I wonder what Hawkeye made
Oh,
of
it
that.
was missing. It was missing. There is no DRS in this game. Can't do anything about that. Yes, it is going to be pissed when he goes back in the dressing room and he watches that replay. He's going to be pissed. He's going to kill at least two members of this team today. Which two are they going to be? What's your prediction?
The new man in can't afford any lapses in concentration here. Big shout. Not out.
See that ball straight in the
He's keeping it very tight out there. That's amazing.
What must be Sachin and Dhoni talking about right now? What do you think? What must they be talking about? Where to eat tonight? Is it that?
Fast bowler to start a new over.
So it's Wasim and Waqar in tandem now. Sachin and Dhoni up to the top.
He's got the edge. No run there. They simply can't get it away. Hooking the ball can be a very risky business, Tony. How important is it to be able to play the shot well?
Playing the hook shot is an interesting one. It could be described as risky, but it can also
Now notice the contrary statement that he makes again. It could be described as risky, but it will fetch you runs. What does that mean?
be described as one of the most pleasing shots of all if executed well. There's nothing nicer than to hook a fast bowler for four, especially if you manage to get the shot right. But I think that you should try to play the hook and pull shot, because if you perfect it, there are plenty of runs to be made in that area. In fact, I'd go further. There's no point in eliminating any shot. You've got to try them all, and then depending on your personal view of how you're going, you're then going to make a stance in respect of how you're going to select your shots. And if you don't feel confident with the hook, well then don't play it.
Don't play it. So what's the point? What's your advice for this? Eventually I'm going to do what I feel
No run there.
right. So your advice means nothing. I'm just talking around by the way, kids. I just love Tony Greig a lot. We all love Tony Greig a lot. He made the comeback for the game. Finest commentator we ever had, probably. And also, the game didn't saw a lot of. He just played 5 years of proper international cricket. After that, he went on to play World Series cricket, and after that, he couldn't make a comeback. He couldn't come back, or he didn't want it to come back probably to the proper English team again. So it's a bit of sad, because if you see his numbers, those are phenomenal numbers, and he could bowl spin, he could bowl medium pace, and he was more than a capable batsman. He was almost top order batsman, good bat, anywhere in the crease, and he was a better batsman than Ian Botham was. He was also an all-rounder, who was also a great all-rounder of that time.
Good over for West of Wall there, 7 months.
Was the true Dhoni is not playing ODI cricket, so now he doesn't want to.
He's keeping it very tight out there. He's bowled a really tight over there. The seamer to start a new over then.
No ball.
One ball to Sundries.
Should go in one week.
Low run there.
What do you think about the future of MS Dhoni right now? He's 38 years old. The lockdown is taking too much time to end. Probably the T20 World Cup will be cancelled this year, so there is no possibility that Dhoni can return to cricket this year. And if this year he can't, it means he will be 39 by next year and probably won't have any chance to make a comeback, and probably won't have any chance of having a farewell on an international cricket match on a field. On field of playing while playing an international cricket match. So it's probably going to be IPL is where he's going to get his farewell. So how does that? I don't watch IPL. I don't watch IPL at all. So I don't care about that. So for me, probably this is the end of MS Dhoni, and we might not see him again. That is a bit sad because the kind of contribution he has had on Indian team is phenomenal. But again, he's also not the kind of cricketer who would want that kind of a big event kind of a farewell. So it also resembles how he has been all his life playing for India. He's always been the silent guy. So we want to see him, but we also want to see him being around cricket, probably coaching a few other teams, probably under 19 team like Rahul Dravid does now. So we want him to be around cricket, or probably become a chief selector or something like that soon.
They can't get it away. Batsman are coming back for a second.
Wide ball.
The umpire signalling that as a wide.
Good over.
It's an 8 from the over, the scoreboard ticking over. Fast bowler to start a new over.
We need to change Wasim Akram's field. I mean, this kind of field doesn't work. If I want to, I can really smack him all around the ground. But I don't want to. If you don't believe me, I will show you one more over where I can smack him all around. Just want this to be very authentic, right? Even if the commentary that I'm doing is not at all and authentic, it's very pretty, right? Tony Greig's statement in this game.
He must be starting to think of three figures now.
Been thinking of he's been dreaming of these persons. Probably the commentator has been dreaming about Sachin since last night.
Good over for the rest of the world there, 7 months.
Batsmen are coming back for two.
Probably Jonathan Agnew, I think. I'm not sure whether I don't know. I think it's probably not. It should be not David.
That's two more. That's two from the over then.
The commentator. Well, there's also Ian Bishop and Shane Warne who also come to commentary in this game. Well, now, like you have Shane Warne, like you have Tony Greig now. So instead of that, you will have Ian Bishop or you will have Shane Warne. But the other commentator, who's probably Jonathan Agnew or I don't know who he is, or Mark Nicholas, he might be Mike Nicholas. So that remains the same. But one person, so he's like an expert. So that other person, so Tony Greig is an expert, or Shane Warne is an expert, or Ian Bishop is an expert. So this kind of partnership works in commentary, by the way. And one guy who established this kind of commentary, I think, was Harsha Bhogle, where he could play the second fiddle and he would let the other commentator with him, who's probably a cricketer, to talk more about, and he will keep questioning that other person, and he will make things interesting if things are not happening in the game, especially in test matches. And there's always a lot of sense of humor when Harsha's around. He'll always joke around with his fellow commentators, and there will always be little things happening, stories happening around when he's commentating. No doubt my most favorite commentator, Harsha Bhogle, without a doubt.
The ball just runs out into the covers. Batsmen are coming back for a second. Five off the over then.
If we need to bring back Imran Khan in the bowling
The seamer to start a new over then. No run there.
Here's Ms Dhoni enjoying it.
He picked his spot well there.
He found the gap with precision. That shot brought the crowd to their feet. Confident appeal. Got him.
very similar to
Right in front, no argument.
actually could be actually out because we saw Virat Kohli's wicket was missing off stump, it was moving away, but this probably looks clear plumb.
I don't think he agrees with that decision by the umpire.
And from another angle,
Yeah, that looks good.
let's take a look at
It is
Hawkeye.
plumb. Big one. So Waka has done the game and now it's working out the main action. Changing the match for Australia. So who should it be? Kapil Dev or Ashwin? What do you think? We need to attack right now or we need one more of a partnership? I think I will go for that.
They're right into the tail now.
Ashwin, by the way, never really works outside India or West Indies with the bat. I mean, with the ball, if you actually, to surprise, he's actually done decent outside, but he's played very few test matches outside. That's the thing. But he has done decent enough, I would say. He has done decent enough in West Indies with the few games that he's played. He's done decent in Australia. He hasn't done that well in England, but again, very few test matches he has played in England. So I don't think that when many people these days they tease Ashwin, if the many people actually troll Ashwin for that on Twitter and all of that he's not successful outside India, which is a fact, but that is not really his problem. He hasn't got enough opportunities to play outside, and probably India hasn't played enough outside. Or whenever India has played, they've probably dropped Ashwin, or they've played one off. They've sometimes played Ashwin, sometimes someone else. So that has worked out. So I think if he was the only frontline spinner for India, like Kumble was for a long period of time for India, he would have probably been more successful than what he is outside India. But I think even keeping that aside, the kind of success that he has had in India is exceptional, and it just cannot be forgotten. It's huge, and I would say he's the biggest match winner for India in Test matches in India at least. So, up until then, it was Kumble, and I think he did better than Kumble. He's gone ahead of Kumble, which is phenomenal, probably. But both Kumble and Ashwin to me are phenomenal. I feel they're exceptional spin bowlers, and they always add a lot of value to a team. And with the bat as well. And even Kumble with the bat, we just saw what he did today. Got 2 runs, but he added a lot of value. So even Ashwin is capable of that, but Ashwin doesn't take his batting as seriously, I feel. I think he would have turned into a wonderful defensive batsman, but he's not. He hasn't turned into a defensive batsman. He's more like he bats like there's a bit of VVS Lakshman, there's a bit of Murli Vijay in him, but he doesn't stay stable. Gets carried away, and you'll see him play one off shot, and the way he gets out mostly is very silly, and it's not suited for a defensive batsman in Test cricket. So I would have loved that if Ashwin had worked more on his defensive batting, I feel. On the contrary, in fact, if Ravindra Jadeja decides to be defensive, I think he's more effective than Ashwin. If he decides to be defensive, but he doesn't be that defensive most of the time.
No run taken off that ball. Nice shot.
That is Ashwin again. He doesn't do that. Whenever he comes to
That's 4 more.
Well, if you want to show the kids the perfect way to play that shot,
everyone noticed that he's a very good-looking batsman, and he makes batting look easy and all of that. And he gets carried away by that.
there's a fine example.
That's 8 off the over.
I don't want to play him again. He should have been in that.
He must be starting to think of 3 figures now. Beautiful time.
You know what? I'm gonna get Sachin to his 3 figures early because this guy should stop talking about it. This commentator, he should stop talking about his 3 figures. That's why.
That was a cracking shot. He really got into position beautifully there.
that's gone along.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the first 6 of the innings, and I'm capable of hitting at least 10 sixes in 10 overs. Oh no, more. I could hit 3 sixes in an over, I guess.
That'll go for 6.
Wonderful shot. He really punished the bowler there.
That was a confident shot.
Of course it was. Look at that. No, he was very close to the 8th wicket.
Physical fitness is a major part of modern cricketers' training regime. What impact do you think this has had on the game?
Physical fitness as part of the modern game is obviously very important. You need to be fit, you play a lot. But you need to be cricket fit, and that's where I've got a little bit of a problem with some of the modern techniques. I reckon that fast bowlers need to be fit to bowl. They don't need to be fit to swim long distances in the pool, to run marathons. They need to be fit to bowl, and I think that we're seeing quite a lot of injuries as a result of some of the extramural work that is done by bowlers that doesn't involve the action of bowling. So I think that's a bit of a lesson to be learned. Having said that, I would be the last one who'd want to in any way detract from cricketers being fitter. I think that if you're fitter, you're going to be better.
No run. Not a pretty over for Pakistan, that one. Cricket to start a new over. The ball just runs out into the covers. Batsmen are looking for 2.
To resurrect this innings. I want to have a respectable total on board, so that's probably the only option. Kapil Dev is there. You might get 5, 50, 60 from Kapil Dev later on. For now, I think I need a good solid partnership.
3 off that over.
Oh, just came in. We're supposed to change the bowler when it's forgot. Wait for his next over now. Again, this is something that Ashwin might do. This is very much possibility that Ashwin can do this. He'll try to play a random shot and he will get out.
Nothing scored there. No runs from the over. Fast bowler to start a new over.
for 2 years. No.
Batsmen change their mind.
He was in trouble. Throw was at the wrong end. Ashwin could have gone now.
No ball.
The umpire signalling a no ball.
No ball.
One more to sundries.
Just a couple of overs remaining to end the session. That is 11 runs short.
Who's keeping? Good over from Ms Dhoni, 7
Oh, again I fucked it up. Should have
4
played
runs conceded from that over.
before this one ball was pulled, and I should have brought in He's bowled well, to be honest, Fazal Mahmood. And he's also, I mean, the other 3 bowlers have been bowling in 150s and 156, so he's also the variation in that bowling. Bowls in 120s and 130s, so actually he's very effective. And by the way, if I'm playing normal game cricket that I would play, and I would hitting every bowler, then I would have found Fazal Mahmood more difficult to hit, by the way, because that change of pace, and suddenly will bowl a delivery that's like 100 k's per hour. So that is the most devastating delivery, by the way, in this games. A slower delivery that a fast medium bowler bowls becomes the most difficult ball, and it's the wicket taking ball all the time. But when super fast bowlers, like say someone is bowling in 150s, bowls a slower delivery, that will be like 130. So that's not a problematic delivery. You very easily adjust to that ball.
Great timing on the shot.
That was a slow delivery. This time I was ready for it, I guess.
Well, that's a wonderful shot. He looks in great shape out there.
The ball just runs out into the covers. Batsmen are coming back for a second. We know that climatic conditions and the condition of the ball both play a part in generating swing. But would you say that movement in the air is predominantly generated by the bowler's grip or the overall bowling action?
Yes, there's no doubt that the whole question of swing bowling is top of mind in the world of cricket at the moment, mainly because you've got this thing called reverse swing. My view on swing is a little different to most. As far as I'm concerned, basically, a cricket ball swings because of the natural action of the bowler. As you go through a match, the outside of the ball obviously changes, and the process of swing changes, and eventually after 35 overs you can get a ball to reverse swing. Now, there is all sorts of talk about what you've got to do to create those situations, I've got to say that over the years, just keeping one side relatively damp and shiny and the other side dry is the best way to go about it.
No ball.
He's having problems with his run-up out there.
Problems are not with his runner. The problems are with your algorithm. Fucking stupid algorithm. All the time they give so many extras.
Great timing.
One more action.
4.
Super timing, that fairly raced away.
That's a good over.
No run taken off that
Should be
ball.
last over
It should be the final over of the session.
And Sachin has to score his hand. Not doing something stupid. I'm not going to make a mistake here.
Batsmen are looking for 2. Terrific shot. 4 more.
Absolutely effortless. He hardly seemed to hit.
Sachin Tendulkar's lucky number 99. Will he get out? Never know. Could be an outside edge. There it is.
Batsman coming back for a second. He looks very pleased.
He certainly isn't interested in blocking and prodding the odd single. It's been a quick fire innings.
Quick fire innings. He has taken 164 balls for it, and it's a quick fire innings for Tony Gray. So, we'll meet soon with the third session.
And that's tea.
That's after tea, the evening session, and we hope you are still excited to watch this test match, because I'm really excited to see how Pakistan does and how Indian spinners dominate or they don't dominate, what comes out of this test match. It's going to be interesting. These are still early days at this stage. We'll be right.
The leg spinner to start a new